Today we're going to learn how to graph inequalities with two variables. Up until now you guys have only done like y greater than or x less than and just one thing. Now we have the two variables involved. Our first two examples though are going to be review. First we have to know how to change these by hand into slope-intercept form. So we're going to continue with what we did yesterday, and our big idea is to get the y by itself. So for number one, I have 3y plus 6x is greater than 0. What would I have to do first to get the y by itself?
Minus 3y.
Minus 3.
Not yet. It's already positive 3y.
Minus 6x.
Thank you. Minus 6x from both sides. So I'll subtract 6x from the left, and then subtract 6x from the right side of the inequality symbol. Treat the inequality symbol just like you would an equal sign. It just splits up the inequality into two parts, the left side and the right side. So now that we've done this, we have 3y that falls down, plus 6x minus 6x cancels out to 0x, greater than. Now how will I write the second part?
Minus 6x plus
Minus
0.
6x plus 0.
Perfect, minus 6x plus 0. I'm doing that because I want to get it into slope-intercept form as close as possible. And even though we could ignore the 0, we'll leave it on just to have a y-intercept in place. Y is still not by itself yet. What do I have to do now?
Divide by 3y.
So every term in this inequality gets divided by positive 3. So our final inequality is y greater than, what's negative 6 divided by a positive 3?
2x.
So I get a negative 2x, and 0 divided by 3?
0.
So plus 0. Now, could I graph this line?
Yes.
Yes, so we'll begin at our y-intercept, which is what number?
0.
0, right here. So right at the origin. Our slope is what? Negative 2 over 1, which means what? Down 2 over 1. So our slope, which is right here, is negative 2 over 1. That means down 2 over 1. Let's go ahead and fit every point that we can down on this grid and the points that came before it. Don't commit to a line yet of any kind until I discuss how we determine our lines, or at least review it. So since these are your notes, we're going to write just a quick refresher of some little rules we have to remember. First of all, whenever we have the less than or greater than symbol by themselves, that means we would have a dashed line. When you have less than equal to or greater than equal to by themselves, you're going to have a solid line. The way I like to remember it is, if it has a line underneath it, a solid line underneath it, the graph's going to be a solid line also. If it's just the arrows, it's just a dash. All right? So, based on what we just wrote down now, going back to number 1, what kind of line are we going to connect these dots with? A dash line. An easy way to do it when you have points like this is just to fill in the gaps with little hyphens in between. It makes it easier for you. And you can still see all the points that make up the line. Throw arrow tips on there. Now, we have to figure out what side of this line has all our good answers. The whole point of this lesson is that once you make a line, the line divides up your grid into two sections. Usually a left and a right, sometimes maybe a top and a bottom. Here we have a left-hand section and a right-hand section, but we don't know where all the right answers are. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a point. I'm going to pick a point, something really easy like, let me think. I wish I had my notes out, but I don't. Let's pick a point over here on the far right side. I'm going to pick a random point, and this is what you use when you're doing this by hand. And if you don't have a graphing calculator available, this is how you know where to shade. So, let's take this point that I just picked. What are its coordinates?
0.
Not 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 0. So 10, 0 are its coordinates. 10 is the x, y is 0. Let's put that 10x, let's put in the number 10 for x, and over here, right there we go, and the 0 for y, and see what we get in the equation. So 3 times my y value, which is what number? 0. 3 times 0 plus 6 times my x value, which is 10. We want to see if that's going to give me an answer that's greater than 0.
Yeah.
So what's 3 times 0?
0.
What's 6 times 10?
60.
And is 60 greater than 0?
No. Wait, yes.
Yes, it is. 60 is greater than 0. That means not only is this dot on the right-hand side an answer, every coordinate on this side of the line would also make that statement true. So you shade in this entire zone.
Because that proves that 60 is greater than 0.
Yes, any coordinate you put in here will always give you an answer when the number is greater than 0. And guess what happens if you pick a point on the far left side? It'll be less than 0 and it won't be true anymore. That's how you'll always know which side is the right side. You pick a point and then you test to see if it works.
So everything on this.
So everything on the left side of this dashed line would not work. If you plug in an x and y coordinate, you'll get something smaller than 0. And that would make the inequality untrue. But everything on the right side over here that we shaded in. Now here's another thing. The dashed line acts like a fence. It separates the good answers from the bad answers. But the dashed line itself is not a good answer. So if you get a point that's on the dashed line, it's not going to be true either. However, it's opposite. It will be true with a solid line, and we'll get to that right now. So let's go ahead and do number 2. For number 2, I want to get the y by itself again. So what should I do?
Minus 9x.
Let's subtract 9x from both sides. Minus 9x from the left, minus 9x from the right-hand side. So 9x is canceled out to 0 x's. I have negative 3y greater than or equal to, how will I write the right-hand side?
Negative 9x plus 15.
Negative 9x with a positive 15 attached. Very good. So now we're going to have another big idea. I told you this lesson was full of stuff today. So to get y by itself, what do I have to do?
Divide by
Whenever you end up multiplying or dividing by a negative number with inequalities, your sign's going to flip directions. So we'll make another little note down here, like a little star.
Oh, so like if it becomes from a negative to a positive, you
Yes,
flip the sign.
exactly. When you multiply, slash, or divide by a negative, I'm going to put it really big, flip sign. When you multiply or divide by a negative, you're going to flip the sign. So now, I get from left to right y, and what's my symbol going to be? Less than or equal to. What's negative 9 divided by negative 3?
3x.
Positive 3x. Positive 15 divided by negative 3?
Negative 5.
Negative 5. Can I now graph this?
Yes.
Yes. Y less than or equal to 3x minus 5. So my y-intercept is negative 5. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here below the origin. My slope is 3, so that's up 3 over 1. Make all those points. Now, my inequality symbol says less than or equal to. So what kind of line would I make? A solid line. I'm not that good with the left going up, but I'll try. Not too bad. Seen better. So now, we need to figure out which side is the good side and which one's the bad side. So we're going to pick another point. Whenever possible, pick a point that has the smallest, easiest numbers. So what point on the grid here has really easy numbers that we can use? Give me a location.
1.
The origin is a really good place right here to use. So since we don't know which side to shade, we're going to use the origin. What are the coordinates at the origin?
0, 0.
So let's plug in 0 for x and 0 for y into our equation. I would have 9 times 0 minus 3 times 0, my bad, our inequality, not equation, greater than 15. What's 9 times 0?
0.
3 times 0.
0.
Would 0 minus 0 be greater than 15?
No.
0 is not bigger than 15,
That is
so
false.
false. That means
Left side
everything.
is shaded.
No, that means the left side is all false.
Oh, okay.
Because we chose a point on the left side that made the statement false, that means the whole left side is false. So then which side am I going to shade?
The right side.
The right side. This is where all our good answers are. So I could pick any point on the right side if I want to, and it will then make the inequality true when I plug it in. Also, since you have a solid line, all the points on the solid line are also true answers. So not only do they act like a fence, they act like a fence that carries the right answers. Okay, so now, questions on these first two before we go on. So you get a little faster now because we're going to do a lot more calculator work. Question, yes?
So whenever you would multiply like the number that you want to like Like with the origin,
Yes.
you only multiply it on the left side?
I only put it where it says x in my equation here, and I put this y value where it says y here, and I just solve it.
Oh, you don't put it with the number that doesn't have a variable? Like 15?
Correct, because it's just 15 by itself. 15 is a constant.
Oh.
All right. So now let's go on to our next ones. They're going to have all the graphing with the calculator. So here's what we're going to do. Get your calculator and first turn it on.
It is on.
If it's not already on, now when the home screen pops up, and let me remind you guys really quick, that when you get the home screen, I want you guys to be in Scratchpad. So to get there from the home screen, you press this little calculator button on the left-hand side. The top of your screen should legit say Scratchpad.
Yes,
If it says a tab with 1.1 or 1.2 or 1.4, you're on the document side. And some of the functions are going to change. So you need to be on Scratchpad for this to work the correct way. So it's this button with the calculator. You press it until you get a grid. If you have stuff already graphed, does anyone remember how to clean this out? Doc B. So Doc and B, and then you press Scratchpad again, it'll eventually get you to a nice clear field. Well, what? Be more specific.
Oh, okay.
So are you here? Did you turn the calculator on?
Yeah.
Did you press Scratchpad? Now, are you on this screen or do you have a grid? Which one? I'm asking you to say which one. Are you on this screen or are you on the graph? Okay, click it again to get to a graph, to the grid. Are you there now? Is there anything graphed on there, on your screen? Or is it plain?
Oh no.
Okay, so it's clear. Okay, that's where I want you to be.
Hold on. I just want to make sure.
Yeah? So is everybody where we're at right now?
Yes.
Because some calculators have a weird programming issue where not everything pops up exactly right, so I need to take those calculators out. So if we're here, we're good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to graph our first inequality. Inequalities cannot have an equal sign, so delete that out first.
Go 6.
You press delete, and then you go to 6 for relation. It says relation x, y. That means you can type in anything with an x and a y. So let's type in our first inequality, which is 3y plus 6x. To get your inequality symbols, you press Control, and then you press the equal button right underneath it. And this window should pop up.
He said.
Now you select the one you want, which is greater than. You press Enter. And then you type in 0. My bad, not 0. I'm doing the wrong one, aren't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing the right one, I hope?
No.
If not,
We just followed what you
I
said.
know. Well, I do appreciate those of you who are following along. So let me go back and do number 3 correctly now. It's supposed to be x plus y greater than or equal to negative 4, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you with me? Okay, so x, because I might have thrown you off, plus y is greater than or equal to, right there.
Got it.
Come on, there you go. Negative 4, enter. Now we've all got this graph, yes?
Yes.
Anybody not get it so I can help you with your calculator, because this is a skill you will need the rest of the year. So did you get it? Or no? Okay, so let's see what happened. So did you type in x plus y is greater than or equal to negative 4? Type it in. Press y. Y is next to the x. Control equal sign. Find the symbol you want. Is that the right symbol? There you go. Negative 4. Enter. All right. So now we're here. Now we need to get some points. So first thing we're going to do, to get our y-intercept, our b, press menu 5, 1. The first point it goes to
0.
is your y-intercept. So what's our y-intercept?
0, negative 4.
Negative 4 is our y-intercept. So on our grid up here, or on our graph, let's go ahead and write b equals negative 4. And we can go ahead and graph that first point in. So on the y-axis, go down to negative 1, 2, 3, negative 4 down here. So there's our starting point. Now back to your calculator. Let's try to find some more points that are whole numbers. So I'm going to start left arrowing until I get some coordinates that are nice and plain whole numbers. And there's actually one right here. Here's negative 3, negative 1, so there's one I'm going to include. Negative 3, negative 1. So you left arrow to find more points, and you want to find ones that are compatible, that are easy to graph. -4, 0 is another one.
Oh. Whole numbers, not any decimals.
You can, if you want to, decimals are a little more harder to graph with a small grid. So -4, 0 means I go back 4 and I stay on the x-axis. And then I'm going to go ahead and find some more points. I'll keep pressing the left arrow until I get to points down here that are nice and even or whole amount, no decimals. -6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2. And I kind of already see my line and my slope. Can anyone else see the slope?
Yes, sir.
What's the slope going to be? I need the number.
Oh,
Think about it. Let's take these 2 points right here. How do you go from one
One,
point to
one.
the next point? What kind of one?
-1.
-1. So we can basically write every point now if we know the slope. Our slope is -1 over 1 because we're going down 1 over 1 to get to every single point. What kind of line should I make? Look at our inequality symbol
Solid,
here.
it's a solid.
It's solid. It has the half equal sign. That means it's going to be solid. And according to what we graphed, are we shading below or above?
Above. Well, we have to pick 2 colors.
Do we have to? Well, our calculator did it for us. So we can go ahead and shade above.
Oh, the right.
Everything over here on the right-hand side. That sounds better, actually. I like that more. So anything in this shaded zone would be an answer. What about the line itself? Would those be legit answers, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. How do you know?
Because they're on.
Because of what?
The line is solid.
That's the reason, because it's a solid line.
Yeah.
It's a solid line. Solid lines give us the solutions. So now try on your own doing number 4, and then I'll jump in and we can compare to make sure we got the right graph with the right line, with the right shading, with points. Make sure you write down your y-intercept, your slope, all that good stuff. So go ahead and start number 4 now. Let's not get too hung up on the shading. It'll be there. So 3x minus y is less than 1. I'll clear out my calculator. Doc B. Go ahead and delete 6. 3x minus y is less than 1. Less than 1. Enter. So make sure your graph looks like this before you move on. And check up here to make sure your graph looks like that. If it does, continue on with the rest of the steps. If it's not, please call me over to help you. Probably hit the wrong key or something. That's one of the bigger mistakes. Did everybody get the graph? Did you get it? Let's see. Go back to the graphing thing again. Scratch pad. Scratch pad, that's what you got. Now, how you clean it up? Okay, so make a note on your paper. Doc B cleans out your graph. Write it down in your notes, because I don't want to keep repeating this and you have to know it. Doc and B cleans out your graph. So write Doc B to clear. Now do it on your calculator. Letter B, it's after A. There's A, it's an alphabet. Now press scratch pad again and go back to the grid. Press it again, just press the calculator, press this, just press the calculator. Okay, now what do? How do I get rid of that equal sign? No, escape. Escape. That's escape. You're pressing 2 keys at a time. So we're going to press again. We're going to go Doc, we're going to go B. So now, scratch pad and go to a grid. Now, how do you get rid of that equal sign? When you don't want something on the screen, how do you get rid of it? What button do you push on the keyboard? What button do we push that gets rid of things? Huh? No? What does delete mean? It means that you get rid of things, so yes, that's what you push. Now what are you going to push?
Okay.
Which one? No. Relation. Write that down. You've got to be taking these notes. You're just following along and not taking anything in. Now type in your equation. Inequality. 3x minus y is less than 1. Minus y is next to x on the bottom, not changing. Control equal sign. You need to get it up for yourself. Control equal is where all the inequalities are. Then what number is here? -4. Now, tell me about 1 then you are right. 1. Enter. You have your points now. Does it look like that? Now you're caught up. Now, what's our y-intercept? To get your y-intercept, if you don't know, it's menu 5, 1. So you have to write that down, then write it down. Menu 5, 1. Because I've given this code to you guys many times, and it should not be forgotten still. So -1 is our y-intercept. B equals -1. Same as the last, well, actually not the same as the last one. I believe the slope is the same though. Let's find out. -1. So on our blank grid over here, I go to -1 and I put my dot there. Now I gotta find another point on this line. Since it was still in trace mode, all I have to do now is just right arrow or left arrow to get to a point. And I think this one gives me someplace, there you go, 3, 8. So I'll go back. 1, 2, 3, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Don't you have to
7,
start
8.
on your y-intercept?
No, I start from the origin.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I got confused.
It's because you gotta go from the origin to
I know,
the
you're right,
right.
you're right.
You gotta go from the
You're right,
origin.
you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. You're right, you're absolutely right. Because it's one square below, I keep starting from here. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I was right.
No, because you're starting from the origin.
You're supposed to when you grab
That's not the
points.
origin.
Hello.
Look it. What's that coordinate?
3.
How do I get there?
You
Starting
gotta
from
go
the
from the-
origin.
You gotta go
Yeah, from the origin.
No, how from the origin though?
That's how you grab any point. You always start at the origin.
No, because don't you start at your y-intercept?
No.
You start at
You follow the slope from the y-intercept.
This would be a good video.
I did. What I did is I found another point on the line.
What am I doing then?
I have no idea, buddy.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, don't
This could be a great video. So it's 3,
Brain
8,
shook me.
3, 8. Is everybody else with me?
Yes.
Why
Yes,
don't you start
okay.
from the origin?
Because I'm not losing my mind here. I thought I was for a second there. 3, 8, and look at, I can find another point. Check this out. Look at, how would I get to 0, -1?
Because your y-intercept.
Okay, and how would you get there? If you explain to somebody brand new to graphing, how would you tell them? If they knew what the origin was, what would you tell them?
You go, but. Not missing it. I sound dumb.
You just forgot. So what kind of line am I gonna make through all this?
I could have put from the origin at first, but then I said, no, you gotta start.
I know exactly why you're getting confused. I'm explaining to you right now. So we have at least these 2 points. What kind of line am I gonna connect them with, first of all?
A dash.
So connected with dashes. Now, we need to figure out our slope, which I haven't figured out yet. So starting from your y-intercept, you
Wait,
can
why are you
count-
starting now from your
Because how many points do you need to find slope?
2.
2. Do you agree that the y-intercept is a point?
Yes.
Do you agree that this other point I graphed at 3, 8 is also a point?
Yes.
So can I figure out my slope from point A to point B?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that. Just watch. Watch. So from this point, let's count up. Positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I went up 9. Then I have to go over 1, 2, 3. Can that be simplified?
Yes.
To what?
I don't know that.
I know that. That's 3rd grade math. 3 over 1.
Number 1.
Or just 3. That means from this starting point, the y-intercept, if I go up 3 over 1, I'll get another piece of that line. Up 3 over 1. And look at it, it matches all my other points.
So why did I get confused?
Because what you did is you tried to calculate slope instead of just finding the other point on the line. You were doing something like you were a step ahead of yourself, but in the wrong way. It was very weird. But it's okay. We will fix this on the next one. If you still don't see,
Okay, because like, this is what I did.
Okay, so tell me what you did. I have a feeling I know what you did.
Just
So
go
you
back
have-
to the graph.
Okay, so this one,
Okay. Can I go?
Yeah, come up here, explain to me.
Yeah.
Because if you're having this issue, someone else might be having it too, maybe we can clear everybody's issues up.
So this is what I did. I said 1, 2, 3, and then
Uh-huh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I put a dot right there.
Now, what would those coordinates be, if you plot a point there, what would those exact coordinates be? Just wondering. Starting from the origin, right? That's how we graph.
3, 7.
3, 7. So that point should be on the line then, right? So if I go over at 3, my y value should be 7. But it's not, because you didn't start moving from the origin like you're supposed to. You started moving from the y-intercept. You were doing some weird like slope combination.
So what I'm getting at here,
Mhm.
even though there's no point at the origin, you still start from the origin.
Whenever you graph points, yes. This right here on the screen, if you see this 3, 8, is just a point. It's telling me it's a point that's on my line. And how do you get to any point if you're graphing? What's graphing 101? You always start from where? That's right. So you go over 3 squares to the right. You can see it better this way, watch. Menu, view, grid, 2, dot grid, 2 again. Oops, escape that. So now look at, go over 3 and go up 8 from the origin. Touch the But if you went down to 7, would you be in the shaded zone?
No, I would
So would you have a solution at 3, 7?
No.
No, that's why.
No.
Good. Nicely done. And you're gonna shade everything to the left side. Don't fall as you're excited about the snap. All right, that one was a little distracting because we had a lot of side stuff, although we learned some things. Let's try this fresh again. Brand new, fresh. Fresh, from the beginning, from the top. So calculator, take it out. If anything's already been graphed there, what are we gonna press to clean it out?
Talk B.
Daphne, what do we press to clean it out? Okay, go next page. So that way you won't be behind. Doc B, clean it out. Now, let's go back to a nice, clean coordinate plane grid.
Delete 6.
Delete, thank you. Delete, and then 6 for relation. And now, let me get my exact right column out so I'm not making a fool out of myself anymore. 2x minus 5y is greater than or equal to negative 10. And then press enter, and you guys should get that graph.
Whoa.
I got it.
2 times x minus 5 times y.
Yes, 'cause that's what 2x means, 2 times x.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You don't say 2 times, you just say 2x and say 2 times x. Now, let's graph this. So where should I get my y-intercept from?
10. Negative 10.
Menu 5, 1 will give it to me. And it ends up being at 0, 2. So you're right.
So we
B,
go up from the origin.
so B, yes.
Okay.
My y-intercept, B, is a positive 2. So from the origin, I rise 2 squares. And I put a big fat dot there at positive 2 on the y-axis because that is my y-intercept.
Okay.
Very good. So are we together?
Yes.
Yes, cool. Good, good,
Let's go
good.
to
Now let's go ahead and find some more points. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the left. It looks like there might be easier ones on the left. So I'm gonna keep left arrowing, and I think I can get to the x-axis. I can get a nice one, maybe.
Negative 5, 0.
Yeah, negative 5, 0, perfect.
Go from the origin again, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, okay.
And then you go left 5 squares.
You always go for the origin.
Always when you're graphing points.
Okay, now I know that.
Now, do we technically have enough points here to find the slope?
Yes.
Yeah, but how many do you need?
You just need 2 to find the
It's
slope.
fine, so let's pick from the furthest left and go to the right. From this left point, how many squares up do I have to go?
2.
So I rise 2. Then I have to jump over how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can that be simplified any?
No.
But can I use the slope to find the next points?
Yes.
Let's do that. It's faster than going left and right on the keypad. Up 2 over 5. Up 2 over 5. And then you can find the point that came before it.
2/5.
2/5 is your slope, yes.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now, Well, first let's go to the lines. What kind of lines are going to be
Solid.
Thank you. You answered before I got there.
Wait, solvent or solid?
Solid.
Solid?
It's not chemistry, it's not solvent. Solid line. And then we're shading above or below?
Below.
Below. Sometimes it's left, right, sometimes it's above, below. It depends on how slanted your line is. So everything here is a solution. How about the line itself?
It is true.
Yes, anything on the line will also make a true solution. So are we finally getting the hang of this a little better?
Yes.
Try doing number 6 now on your own.
Okay, I'm not gonna get
List the y-intercept, list the slope, give me the right line, shade correctly, all that stuff. These skills will help you immensely on the end of course with the calculator and algebra too. Okay, should be a few steps ahead of me, so I'll go ahead and start. So my first step is to graph 3x minus 2y is less than or equal to negative 4. Clean it out, scratch pad again, delete 6, and I get 3x minus 2y less than or equal to negative 4. Enter. There's my graph. My y-intercept, menu 5, 1, is at 2. So the b is at positive 2. And all I need now is one more good point so I can find the slope. So I'll go ahead and start going to my left.
Yeah.
And let's see if I get anywhere. I'm getting 10 decimals so far. I might have to go the other way if I don't find anything here. There's
Oh.
one. Negative 6, negative 7. That one showed up, and that will fit on my grid. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the origin, and then 7 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to use those 2 points as the basis of my slope. In which case I have to go up from the left point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Positive 9 up. And then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 to the right. How can that be simplified?
3 over 2.
So if I take any of these points, I can go up 3 over 2 and get the points that are in between.
Yes.
Up 3 over 2, up 3 over 2,
And
up
it's-
3 over 2.
The solid.
And it's going to be a solid line, yes. Excellent. That line is so horrible. And then I am shading to the left up or to the right down?
Left up.
Left up. Does the line count as a solution? Yes, because it's solid. And it's going to get easier from here on out. How much time do we have left for this extremely long video class? Okay, so yeah. Now it gets a little more interesting. No more graphing is required now. That's the good part. All we're going to do now is check points. So let's look at the next part, the last part of our notes here. For number 7, 8, and 9, 10, they give us 5 points. Number 7, go back to graph number 3, and we want to know which of these 5 points are in the shaded zone, which ones are solutions. Now, if you can't read, well, we're using the graphs that we made, so let's go ahead and just go back to your graph. So go ahead and graph 3, which was right here, that you made. Now, for every point that is in the shaded zone, put a check mark. For every one that's not, put an X. I'll also go from left to right. 1, 0, would that be a solution? Yes, so put a check mark next to it. How about 4, 8?
Yes.
Yes. Negative 6, 2?
No.
No. Negative 8, 0?
No.
No. Negative 5?
No.
4? Negative 5, negative 4, excuse me. No. Solution is any point that's in the shaded zone. That means the x and y points will make the inequality true. All right, questions on number 3 then? Let's go now. Number 8 says use graph 4, which is this one right here next to it. And the same exact points again. Is 1, 0?
No.
No. How about 4, 8?
No.
No. Negative 6, 2?
Yes.
Negative 2, yeah. Negative 8, 0?
Yes.
Yes. Negative 5, what's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 4? Yeah, that one will be down there, it'll totally be in the solution zone. Okay, let's go ahead and go now to graph number 5. That one's a better one that I got. So let's start with the first point. 1, 0.
Yes.
Yes, 1, 0 is in there. How about 4, 8? 1,
No.
2, 3, 4. It's above, no. How about negative 6, negative 2? 1,
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, it's down here. How about negative 8, 0?
Yeah.
No, negative 8, 0 is above the line. So it would not be a solution. Negative 5, 4?
Yes.
Yeah, that's down here. And now we use graph 6 over here. So for graph 6, how about 1, 0 at this point? Is it a solution?
No.
No, it's
Yes.
not in the shaded zone. So why you keep saying
I
yes?
don't know, because you said no and everyone else said no.
That's the only reason why you're changing your answer. That's the worst reason in a math class.
It's because everyone said it, so like.
You want to be a contrarian,
That's
It's
because
because
everyone
it's
said
too
no and
obvious.
you were like, no.
It's like too obvious without looking at the shading.
right? How about 4, 8?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, oh,
Yes.
wow.
Why is it? You're right.
Because it's on the.
And what kind of line is it?
Solid line.
It's on
Yes.
the solid line, which is in the
Correct.
shading.
Solid lines do count as the right answer. Negative 6, negative 2.
No, yes.
Yes. How about negative 8, 0?
Yes.
Yes. How about negative 5, negative 4?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, how is negative 6, negative 2?
Because if you go all the way.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down to, it's in the shaded zone.
Oh.
All right, so are there any questions about these notes?
No.
All right, so there's our